Hey guys, my name is Devonte and I sacrifice my time so you don't have to. I'm at this point right now where I see people with tribalistic behaviors where I don't even want to even talk to you. I don't want to engage with you. I don't want to start a conversation with you. It's beyond frustrating at this point. I was looking at the Jim Cornette video that I made yesterday. Not the actual video, but the comments. I rarely watch my own videos. I mean, maybe if there's like an edit that I'm afraid that I didn't make, maybe then I might look at it or something, just because I can't remember whether or not I did it, just like yesterday, for an example. But I usually pen a comment. But I look at the comments and I'm seeing people talking, and it's just frustrating because they're when I have a blatant intro that is literally displaying and exhibiting the thing that I'm criticizing, and yet people still go out of their way to be so bad faith to tell me that the thing that I'm seeing and that I'm questioning is not true, even though I'm literally looking directly at it in front of my face. It's frustrating because it's like you can't have a conversation with these people. You can't have a conversation with tribalists who are completely hyperbolic. And that's even more so past the point of politics. That kind of verges into professional wrestling also, like the whole AEW versus WWE thing. And it's like, I'll like an episode of AEW, and the minute I say something, immediately it's like, you're an AEW fanboy. It's frustrating. I talk about this plenty of times, but I feel like as much as people hate me, in regards to my rhetoric, my actions, how I carry myself, it's your opinion. I can't do anything about that. But I try to pride myself on being honest at the very least, or at least I try not to lie. That's one of Jordan Peterson's rules. Don't lie. You can't tell the truth, but try not to lie, right? Makes no sense. Don't think too hard about it. But I try not to lie. I try my very best to be honest, and I'm upfront with the things that I'm very biased for. I'm a conservative. I put that in my bio. I would tell you straight up that yes, when it comes down to the WWE and AEW stuff, I favor WWE more. I'm very upfront with what I talk about and how I come across and what I say. I don't sugarcoat anything in regards to how I feel about a subject. But at the same time, that doesn't mean that I'm afraid to want to criticize my own party, my own position. Hell, even within my own fans, I argue with them all the time, like yesterday, for an example. It's just frustrating because it's like I'm willing to concede certain points about my own position and my own ideology making absolutely dog shit sense. I became a conservative probably as far back as like 2016, and it's like, I remember I used to be stuck in that echo chamber for like 4 or 5 years. And it was just horrible because you kind of pigeonhole yourself into arguments that make absolutely no sense. And then there's like no way out of it because you kind of aligned yourself with this ideology, and therefore you have to take up for this position, even though it makes absolutely no sense. And I've seen a lot of people making just the most horrendous arguments on behalf of Jim Cornette yesterday when I have the intro right there. And that shit needs to stop. It really, really needs to stop. The tribalism, it has to stop in every sector. Like, you can have your bias, but if you're not even willing to concede certain points that are just horrible, just because you're aligned to that specific thought, like, then there's no reason to have a conversation anymore, Like, it just defeats the whole point. It's so boring to get into conversations now with people whenever I'm talking about politics, and they immediately just ascribe to a progressive ideology, and rather than actually having a discussion about faulty points on both sides, they immediately just go back into their echo chamber or their hive mind and just start pulling out bulletin points that I've already argued 1,000,001 times that I know they've seen, or maybe they didn't. I don't know. That's the bad part also. That's the worst part about being in the echo chamber, where it's like you argue against the same talking point so many times that you're just willing to tell yourself that maybe these people really don't really care about the other side, and it just really defeats the whole point as far as having a conversation. The same thing can be said about the WWE and the AEW. It's like, if you're not even willing to go out of your way to say that AEW has done good things and that WWE has done bad things, then, I mean, what the hell do you go from there, right? It's frustrating, man. And maybe it could just be the Reggie talking right now. I'm definitely going to ascribe to that notion, but I don't know, man. I just felt like I wanted to vent about that. But with that being said, let's get into the Dynamite review. You guys come here to hear me bitch and moan, so let's get into the Dynamite stream. Okay, so I'm going to try my very best to analyze this properly because there are so many problems that I have with a match like this. The opener was MJF versus Daniel Garcia for the World Championship. Off the bat, you already know what my first complaint is going to be if you follow this channel. It's a World Championship that's opening the show. I despise that kind of shit. I absolutely hate that shit. There was so much potential in regards to what you could have built, especially going off of the story of what you were trying to discuss when actually confronting Daniel Garcia with this 2.0 guys. I don't even remember their names, to be perfectly honest with you, but you could have actually done something with that. That's how you actually make angles. That's how you actually make stars, when you actually take your time and then you build up into it throughout the rest of the night. I said it once and I'll say it again. For a guy to be considered Booker of the Year, he does a lot of, I don't want to say shady, but definitely desperate attempts in order to hold viewership numbers. Like, we're never going to discuss the ploys, like the announcements that he likes to bullshit everyone with. I'm talking about Tony Khan, by the way. But this right here, this could have very well been something that you could have promoted in the main event. If you have confidence in your stars and if you're confident in their characters, then you could have built this throughout the night. More in particular, focusing on Daniel Garcia. More in particular, focusing on MJF, trying to separate Daniel Garcia. There could have been a thread that could have happened from point A to point B later on tonight that could have just pretty much been MJF trying to convince Daniel Garcia that he doesn't need these two guys. And I could have climaxed in Daniel Garcia maybe leaving these two guys or something along the lines of that. And then Jay White could have attacked him from behind. Instead, we just flesh everything out in the very, very beginning. You get an intro with MJF and Daniel Garcia. First off is Renee Patty Cake, and she's backstage, and she's like introducing MJF, and then he gets interrupted. Well, actually, he talks about I think he talks. No, was it Daniel Garcia? I can't even remember the order as far as the introduction, but I think it was Daniel Garcia first. And he's like asking him whether or not he's going to be a real wrestler. And then they leave. And then all of a sudden he gets a phone call. Actually, I think the phone call of Adam Cole came first, if I'm not mistaken, but I could be wrong. Regardless, though, whatever order it came into, he talked to Adam Cole on the phone via satellite. Cole was trying to convince him to take Samoa Joe as a tag team partner. And, he failed at it, obviously. Then you have Roderick Strong come with his two buddies, the Kingdom or whatever their names are, and they're being annoying, and I don't understand how anyone could take any of this shit seriously. So even beyond the point of this couldn't have been a thread or a linear story that could have led into the later portions of the night, because it looks like it's probably going to be Jay White and Jay Briscoe in the main event, which, to be perfectly honest with you, I mean, it's probably going to be some type of short story in regards to MJF trying to run and get his revenge on Jay White, and that's just not enough. This could have been the opener, and you could have had MJF and Daniel Garcia as the closure. You know what I mean? And something else that also kind of hits me also, and people are gonna probably hear me say this, and they're gonna let past this or say something along the lines of, or Devontae, you're being very, you have your nose up in the air, you're being very uppity about this, but I'm sorry, I have to notate this. There is a part of me, and I have no problem with MJF as a character, even though he is getting sort of kind of stale, especially as a babyface. But seeing him and Daniel Garcia on my television and seeing how small they are, seeing how frail they are in comparison to your normal professional wrestler back in the days. And I know MJF has all the charisma in the world, but I can't help but look at him and think to myself, like, even with all that charisma, there is something about MJF that just doesn't scream star power to me. I mean, when he comes out, it's very generic entrance. There's no fireworks. And, maybe it could be the presentation from AEW, because, when guys like The Rock and Austin came out, they felt like stars, they got in the ring, they posed on the ropes, and there was light bulbs flashing everywhere. There were signs everywhere. People popped for them everywhere. And you see MJF and, Daniel Garcia wrestling for a world championship, and they're coming out, and the crowd is not dead per se, but they're not what I would call overly enthusiastic, and it's just like a regular standard, I don't know, entrance, boring music, and they just don't really feel like stars to me. It's just, I just thought that was something evident, considering that they were wrestling, with the world championship on the line. There were just so many things wrong with this segment. I mean, even if you want to look at the match and then judge it on this basis, I mean, I don't really care to. I mean, that's not really what I want to do, because I expect nothing less. Not to mention it's AEW. I mean, once you've seen one match, you've pretty much seen them all. I like to focus on things such as presentation and, you know, the actual story of the characters that are taking place in the ring and going forward throughout the night. And from what I'm seeing and from what I'm looking at right now, yeah, there was nothing about this that actually screamed world title. From the position of the card, from the characters, from the presentation, nothing about this really screamed, I don't know, star power. Nothing about this screamed, if I were, I don't know, surfing through the TV that, you know, surfing through TV channels and I stop, would I stop on this? I don't think so. But I don't know, that's just my position. Let's continue on. I see Sting and Darby Allin in the ring versus two jobbers. You know, I just got finished talking about presentation, and I'm not deliberately trying to go after them. I promise you, I'm not. Look, Swerve Strickland right now is taking on Pento, Let Go of My Ego, and tell me why you have Prince Nana come out and he's doing this little suspect ass dance he does every week to Swerve's theme song, and while he's doing it, you have the audience. They cut to the audience, and tell me why every last single person in their audience, they just look like a bunch of Reddit users. It's like a bunch of fucking wrestling otakus dancing in the crowd, and I'm just like, you know, this hurts your image too. Like, this is the kind of audience you draw, bro. Like, this is, what is this? Where are the days where, like, you had girls in the crowd and Triple H was telling the girl to lift up her chest or lift up her shirt? Oh, dear God, don't lift up your chest, son. That'd be pretty fucking gruesome. But Triple H was telling the girls to lift up her shirt, and the girl would shake her tits in the cameras, and you had the college guys in the crowd, and they have beer, and they're, like, sticking out their tongues and shaking their heads and stuff, and you even have little kids sticking on middle fingers. If you guys remember that meme from a couple of years ago, PG era kid versus Attitude era kid. You know, like, even the crowds are just, like, so different. I mean, look at them. They're just sitting on their hands. I see no signs in the crowd. They all look like they smell, like, so bad. Like, oh, my God. But that's a part of the presentation also. And speaking of presentation, I will give credit where credit is due as far as the women is concerned. I mean, for the love of God, all their women are just horrendously boring. But Toni Storm, though, I will give credit where credit is due. At the very least, they're trying. They're trying. I'm still not sold on the Toni character. You know, this whole Marilyn Monroe gimmick that she's doing, I'm still not quite sold on it. But I appreciate the attempt. It's something different. It is something different. And, you know, at the very least, I think there are some people who like Toni Storm's gimmick. She's over, at least to a certain degree. I mean, I'm not going to say she's over to the degree where, you know, the crowd loves her so much, but she's over to the degree there are certain people like her. And I'll give credit where credit is due. The attempt is what matters to me. Hikaru Shida's boring as fuck, though. I'm sorry. I mean, I know I got some Japanese fans out there who are probably going to be like, oh, Devontae, then you just got finished putting over Asuka and Io and Kairi. Well, they have a story. You know, well, not Asuka, but Kairi and Io have a story. There's, like, a lot of potential. You know, I want to see where this is going to go on Friday, where I see Hikaru Shida. She just has the belt, and I said it once, and I'll say it again, but, like, the belt does not make the superstar. The superstar makes the belt, and good Lord, I don't know, man. But there was a saving grace to all this. We had my boy, Turbo Floyd, my boy, Turbo Floyd in the flesh, the living legend himself. Look at his glistening muscles that it matches his pube chin face. It was glorious. It's like they took all the hair off the top of his head, scrabbled a little bit off of his fucking balls, and then put it on his face and said, here's this miraculous looking beast of a man. I don't even remember who his partner was. You know what his partner was? His partner was nothing more than a jobber. He was a handicap to my homeboy Turbo, to my best friend Turbo Floyd, okay? This is a glorified handicap match. His partner held him back. Okay, this man's a bigger legend than Sting and Darby Allin put together, okay? Sting wishes he was Turbo Floyd. And you know what? Props to Turbo Floyd for going out there and John Cena this, okay? Because there was nobody to see on his team. His partner held him back. People were like, oh, it was Turbo Floyd who took the submission. No, the only one who took the submission was your mother in bed last night when she took the dildo out of her ass when I came in that room ready to pound some of that good old poontang. Sorry, I had to get that out of my system. Let's get back to being serious. Well, I mean, Turbo Floyd being awesome is serious, but let's get more serious and let's get back to Dynamite and focusing on this so-called presentation of a show that's totally killing it right now. I'm absolutely not bored out of my fucking mind. All right, more bitching. I'm sorry, folks. It is what it is. When I see something that I don't understand, that I don't like, that I can't quite compute in my brain as to why it's occurring, I gotta call it out. So first and foremost, this whole little promo with Kenny Omega and Don Callis building up into their big 6-man or 4-man or whatever man tag team match next week. Excuse me, I gasped right there in my mouth. Don't worry about that, folks. One, I mean, do you guys give any fucks whatsoever about this match? I've actually lost track of what the fuck the story is. You know, the funny thing is, in reality, if you want to be really, legit about this whole Kenny Omega Don Callis thing is the worst feud in professional wrestling this year. I mean, no one's gonna call it out, no one's gonna say it, and of course, Dave Meltzer isn't gonna award it the worst feud of the year, when in reality, it's absolutely the worst feud of the year. And quite frankly, anything in regards to Don Callis is completely underwhelming, but maybe that's just me. But if you're going to promote something, maybe not put an ad on it. You know, they did the same thing with MJF earlier tonight when he had his World Championship match. You had DraftKings logo all over the ring. I mean, maybe do that shit, like, or maybe it was happening throughout the night. I'm not sure. I got to look at another match to tell, and I'll confirm it afterwards. But if it was just happening for that specific match, you probably should have just done it for the tag team match with Sting and Darby Allin versus the legend known as Turbo Floyd in a handicap match. You probably should have done it with that overall. I mean, if it's happening throughout the night, that's one thing. But, I mean, if it's just, you know, that match, probably should have promoted in that match. And they're plugging a video game and the whole serious feud with with Kenny Omega and Don Callis. And it's like, I mean, why put yourself in that position for no reason? You know, like, you're trying to promote these as serious feuds, yet you're doing promo segments inside it. I mean, actual, like, promo, like, promotional, like, advertising segments, and these, just whatever, I guess. I mean, that's just kind of a nitpick, but what's not a nitpick is this right here. You had this long, drawn-out match with Swerve Strickland and Penta, and I just simply didn't give a fuck. I mean, people can sit back and say, oh, Devontae, watch the match. The match is actually good. I watched the match. It was a fine match. You know what else is a fine match? MJF versus Daniel Garcia was a fine match. You know what's going to be another fine match? The next match is going to come up. And the match after that. And then on Rampage. And then on Collision. And then on Dark. And then other bullshit type of match they want to bring up. Hang on, let me hear it. Hang on, give me a second, folks. Let me see what Omega and Jericho are saying. They're on my television right now. That was a pretty decent promo with Jericho and Kenny Omega. So apparently they just confirmed that they're going to have a match at Full Gear. I guess the Young Bucks are putting their number one contender shots on the line against Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho. And I guess if Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho lose, they can never team up again. Like, that's pretty much the context that I got from there. Hey, you guys ever actually look Kenny Omega dead in the face before? I'm looking at him. Two things I noticed. He has a very awkward looking upper back. Like, it's very, very awkward looking. And also side profile wise and kind of in the face. Like, I mean, maybe it's just the hair being removed, but he kind of looks like Ryback a little bit in the face, doesn't he? Or is it just me? I don't know. It's probably just me. But, yeah, going back to what I was saying about Swerve Strickland and Penta. Look, I understand what they were trying to get across as far as trying to do another really, really good match. I get it. It's just trying to fill time at the end of the day. But, man, that's what promos and vignettes and all that stuff is for. You know what I'm saying? And they just had a match, and it just went on for so long, and it was just so pointless. And this is my biggest problem with AEW. You know, you're just doing random matches all the time, and you know, in reality, you had a spot. You knew what you were trying to get to. You knew what you were trying to do. The whole point of this was to get to the angle with Swerve and Hangman Adam Page. That was the payoff. That's what we wanted to see. That's what we're going to remember. So why go through all of this when you could have just went directly to that spot? I would have much preferred to see this match go like 3 minutes and then have Swerve Strickland cut a promo afterwards. And then you could have an angle with him being a pull apart from Adam Cole or Page, whatever his name is. And then like you get to a spot towards the end of the stage and then you do that. I would have much preferred something like that. Instead, we got another match. A match that in the end of the day, people say is going to be super good. Oh, this is such a great match. I guarantee you won't remember this match in 2 weeks. Hell, for some of you, you won't remember this match in the next couple of days. because it's just another match in the end of the day. That's my problem. We want to see angles. I said it once and I'll say it again. When you play your WWE video games and you go on the universe mode, do you necessarily give a shit to want to play the matches? Obviously, yes. But in reality, what do you really go to universe mode for? Why don't you just play exhibition all the time? You don't play exhibition all the time because you don't care for the matches in particular. You go to universe mode in particular because you want to see the cutscenes. That's what I want to see in my professional wrestling. I want to see cutscenes. I don't give a shit about the goddamn wrestling. If I want to see wrestling, I'll go watch matches back in the past when they were actually fucking good. What I want to see is stories and reasoning to give me a purpose to want to see your matches. That's what adds the element of actually giving me some type of layers of wrestling being good. Without that, I really don't give a shit, and all I do is just forget about it because it's no different than playing a demo for a video game before it comes out. But with that being said, Samoa Joe and Keith Lee are in the ring right now, so, I mean, let's see what's going on with this, I guess. Man, if Wheeler Yuta don't shut his corny ass up, cut in his face, we'll see you in LA. Huck. Get your Kagome looking head ass out of here. John Stewart Goku looking head ass boy. Nah, okay, look, you know, I'm seeing this, I'm already on this real quick. Okay, so Orange Cassidy, he actually gets serious for a change. He takes off his shades. He looks into the camera and he cuts a boring ass promo. That's how you know when they're serious. When the promos are super fucking boring, that's how you know they're serious. You know Orange Cassidy's pushing 40? I didn't even know that. The dude's pushing 40. How are you pushing 40 and still being this shitty in the promo department? I guess it's what you have the lazy character for, right? In order to deflect from the fact that you're a shitty character overall. Whatever. I like Orange Cassidy. Let me not say that, okay? I don't want to say he has a shitty character, but my God, shitty mic skills. Yeah, keep using that character as a deflection, buddy. Hide those attributes. Hide those attributes. And then you had Jon Moxley responding to him, kind of his usual walking back and forth Macho Man. Randy Savage, I am mad. My name is Jon Moxley. My dick smells like vinegar. We get it, bro. I get it. You're mad. You're angry. You cut the same fucking promo all the time. Also, you're like fucking Bray Wyatt reincarnated. My God. Rest in peace, Bray Wyatt. What else do we have going on the card? Fuck, I forgot already. Oh yeah, Samoa Joe. Wait, before we talk about Samoa Joe though, we just had a jobber squash match with the Ass Boys taking on the Bollywood Boys. You know, I forgot about. I only know the Bollywood Boys for like two things: being Jinder Mahal slut slaves and being Randy Orton's bitches. I mean, do they take any spots except through announcement tables? That's all I remember them for. Regardless, though, can we get more of this shit right here? Like, bro, they beat these guys in like 5 seconds. That's why I want to see more of jobber shit. Get that shit in, get that shit out. I will say, though, looking at both of them cut a promo, holy guaca fucking moly. It's like they're split half personalities. It's like the shorter one got Billy Gunn's his anger and his behavior and his yelling in the microphone randomly and shit like that. And the other one just got Billy Gunn's looks. Holy fuck. The one with the braids, the taller Gunn brother, that is goddamn Billy Gunn's doppelganger. Holy fuck. Go look at Billy Gunn back in like 96 when he was with the Smoking Guns. Holy fuck. That looks like Billy Gunn's. Obviously that's his son. But man, that kid looks more like Billy Gunn's son than his actual son next to him, his other son. Holy fuck. But yeah, give me more of that. Jobber matches. Get the fuck in. Get the fuck out. That was beautiful. Cut a shitty promo, but still beautiful nonetheless. And then Joe, we have Samoa Joe. Let's talk about Samoa Joe for a second. Because there's a couple things that happened. He had a match with Keith Lee that I don't give a shit about. What I really give a shit about is what happened afterwards. So Samoa Joe cuts his promo. He's talking about how like he's one of the longest reigning, or I think he said he's the greatest ROH TV champion of all time. I mean, honestly, are you really? Does a tree make a sound if it falls in the forest and no one's around to hear it, right? Because I completely forgot he was TV champion. I forgot ROH was even a fucking company, let alone him being TV champion. But yeah, getting back to the main story, because I'm burying the lead here. He ended up lying the ROH championship on the floor, on the mat, whatever, and he essentially said that he vacated the championship belt. And yeah, Samoa Joe's no longer TV champion. Just completely and utterly bury that championship for the next person to win it. Because essentially what he's actually saying is this title is worthless. It's unimportant. What I really give a shit about is the world championship belt. Which, yeah, we obviously know. I understand that. You guys understand that. Everybody understands that. But you don't just blatantly outright fucking say it, my dude. Like, holy shit. I got mad at Austin when he did that with the Intercontinental Championship back in 97. He gave it back to McMahon and he was like, you know, I don't want the damn belt. Get your damn belt back. Get your damn belt. I got bigger fish to fry. Like, okay, yeah, that's cool, but like, lose the fucking belt. Like, don't just vacate it. What the fuck? Whenever they do that to their championship belts, all that just tells me is that the next motherfucker to win that belt doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. And yeah, it's the ROH championship. They really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. But don't just outright fucking say that. What the actual fuck? You know, it's Tony Khan. Why would I hold him to any kind of standards? Although I do find it funny, though, you have the ROH TV Championship, which means absolutely fucking nothing. Yet you got the fucking ROH Tag Team Champions, or champion, however you like to refer to it, considering MJF's the only one that's holding the belt. And with this promo right here, why do the ROH Tag Team Champions feel like they're a bigger deal than the actual Tag Team Champions? I actually forgot who the Tag Team Champions were. I thought it was FTR at first. Then I remember they lost the belts, and I can't remember who they fucking lost the belts to. It was Wild Bill Hiccup and Ricky Starks, or The Rock, or LA Knight Mini, wherever, how, okay, who cares? Like, fuck. You know, why am I giving this any credit? Okay, let's just continue on with the show. You got the gist of what I'm talking about. I see, what the hell's her name again? What the fuck is this girl name again? Velvet Cake. Yeah, Red Velvet Cake and Julia Hart. Obviously, I'm not going to talk about this match because Red Velvet Cake's a part of it, so who fucking cares? Let's get on to the next show, match, whatever. Who cares? My head hurts. You know what? Actually, I give up, folks. I'm going to tap out right here. I really don't give a shit anymore. Okay, this match is still going on with Red Velvet Cake and Julia Hart. Yeah, I'm just gonna tap out right here. I don't think anything big is gonna come out of this whole match with what the hell's his name again? Jay Briscoe and Jay White. I really don't feel anything special is gonna happen, and I just don't have any incentive to really give a shit. You know what I would have given a shit about? If you would have given me a reason and a story throughout the night to get me to want to stay. You know, you had MJF and, you know, what the hell, Daniel Garcia. I mean, you could have built up throughout the night, and that could have been the main event, and I could have cared to stay around to want to see that. But no, I mean, I get it. This is what you want, Tony. This is what you've been asking for. You want people to turn off your show towards the end. That's why you put them women right here, right in the dead spot, knowing getting damn well no one gives a fuck about this. What the hell's wrong with this guy? What the hell's going on with the show? What the hell's going on with professional wrestling in general, bro? This shit, I don't know how you can sit back and justify this. I think that's my biggest concern when I see all this. How do you justify a show like this? This was horrible. This was atrocious. The only thing newsworthy that's going to come out of this is some wrestling matches announced for Full Gear and Joe dropping a useless championship belt. I'm not calling it a useless championship belt, even though it is, and even though I always felt that way. But Tony Khan, the promoter, called it a useless championship belt because rather than having Samoa Joe drop the belt, you know, the traditional way, so when the next guy actually wins the belt, it actually fucking has meaning to some kind of degree still. At least it still has its prestige as the championship's namesake. No, instead you just fucking, no one can beat Samoa Joe. Samoa Joe has bigger fish to fry. Hey, loser, you can have this belt. Go for it. I don't really need it anymore. What the actual fuck? What the actual fuck? They got to do better than this, man. I'm looking at the audience right now, and it's like, it's Portland, Oregon, and they just all look dirty and disgusting and just incelish and fat. They're quiet, and when they're actually loud, they're chanting the lamest shit. They got no signs. These matches, they just all blend together. I can't even remember all the matches from earlier tonight. All the stories are cold as fuck. We have Full Gear coming up, and I don't think anyone gives a fuck. The main event for the World Heavyweight Championship, no one gives a fuck about. No one gives a fuck about any of the matches on the card whatsoever. There's nothing, I repeat, nothing going on in AEW at the moment. I think that's my biggest concern so far with AEW. If I had to wrap this show up and one description. At the very least, I would say with WWE, we're looking forward to War Games. For SmackDown, we're looking forward to what the hell is going to happen somewhat. I'm not even going to say I'm even looking forward to that per se, but I guarantee you if this was on AEW Dynamite, I look more forward to what was going to happen with Io Sky and Kairi Sane if this happened to be on Dynamite with this same story versus anything that's happening right now. Where the fuck is Edge and Christian at, huh? Like, I just... They got to do better than this, man. They got to do better than this next week. This was horrendous, and you're gonna have people who are gonna sit back and try to gaslight you and tell you shit like, "Oh, this show was good because it had great matches." Okay, fine. If that's your criteria, I'm tired of preaching to the choir. I'm tired of repeating myself. I've been saying the same shit for years now. If I gotta sit here and say one more time that matches mean absolutely goddamn nothing, then what the hell am I even doing right now with my channel if I can't even get that across anymore? You guys already know the drill as is, okay? But they need to do better than this, man. This was horrendous. This was a boring ass show with no substance and with nothing coming out of it. But hey, that's just my opinion. I'm gonna leave it up to you guys down in the comment section below. Let me know how you felt about tonight's show. I'm sorry if you wanted to hear my thoughts, my compelling thoughts on fucking Jay Briscoe and Jay White's ill. Okay, whatever. Okay, I'm gonna go do something with my life, hopefully with some type of meaning. Maybe it doesn't have any meaning, but whatever it is, I guarantee you it will have more meaning than sitting here and watching this show for another fucking minute. As always, my name is Devontae, and I'll be catching you guys later. I apologize for the low energy. Again, blame it on the Reggie. Deuces, P. Ice.